Let's see, I'm just going to review. I've done that. I've done those. Pretty sure I've done those. 10700K. No, I've done that. What's this? 10900K. Hi, Auntie Aces.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm gonna need a bigger boat. Good afternoon, welcome back to Turbo Tortoise Tech. My name is Walkie Triple XL, and in today's review I've got the world's most powerful gaming processor. Or is it? Well, actually it is, but not by as much as I was hoping, to be honest. Okay, firstly, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, it's only a Hyper 212 on a 10900K. I'm trying to get a water cooling kit that I can then do some overclocking with this. I tried, but it had literally no temperature headroom whatsoever. So I left it as is. Now for gaming, it was actually alright. 60s was 65s on this cooler, not too bad. Not in the high 50s where I'd like it. With the water cooling kit it would be there, and I think it would maintain its boost just a little bit better. Look, it was still good. Even in multi-core it was still going over 4.9 quite readily, about 4950-ish continuously, even at 84 degrees, so not too bad there. I do give massive props to this ridiculous motherboard which Asus has loaned me, which has more ports than you could feasibly probably ever use. Wi-Fi, I mean, the blimmin' jacks light up. It's got a BIOS reset switch on it as well, so I could probably do some really good overclocking with this. If you're a cooling brand and you're watching this video, hit your boy up. 011 We Like PC, find me there. This card on here is the little 1660. I did put my 2070 Super, and I redid all the benches on my 3950X, and it's just as well I did because some stuff had changed. Dota 2 went through some updates on efficiency and stuff, which are actually really noticeable, which is pretty good. Thank you, Gavin. Extra 30-40 frames is never going to be a bad thing when you're on 144. But if we look at the benchmark results, there's nothing really standout except for Vermintide 2, which funny enough was absolutely crisp and super powerfully represented by this 10900K. It absolutely destroyed their 25% extra average frame rate is a lot. But otherwise, for the most part, it wasn't that much better than the 3950X, and that 5 to 10% that's there will be eaten up by having an X570. If I had an X570 board with more than 10 power phases like my X470 Pro, I mean, this board here has got like 27 power phases. Okay, it's more like 18, 20 or something to that effect. It's a lot. I counted the MOSFETs and I was like, that's a lot of juice. 2 8-pins in here. Look, both systems had exactly the same RAM, basically. Well, a Clev kit and a Corsair kit, which I've tested, and they were within 1% of each other, so there's not going to be much performance delta there. Both of them have the same Hikvision E2000 NVMe that I ran the games off of, so there's no like massive difference. Identical GPU, identical settings. I did 100 megahertz on the core and 1100 on the memory as per usual. VRAM overclocking on GDDR6, it's a good time. It does give quite a noticeable increase in performance. It's about literally 5 to 10%, that alone. So I did the exact same setup, exact same settings. Now, this machine had a slight edge because I didn't do the Windows updates. I left this on 1909, which to be honest was the last time that Windows was properly stable, in my opinion. And we see it sometimes with the 1% lows on the 3950X bench. That machine's completely up to date. So yeah, there is some performance delta there from Windows, unfortunately. But with this system, I can see the appeal of the 10900K as an overclocking platform, but I just don't think it's on the mark with value. The 10700K was very similar in its performance results, and a 10600K with a decent amount of water cooling and overclock will get to this kind of level of performance, and for a lot less money. And that's the thing, I think at the moment the sweet spot for gaming is 6 to 8 core setups with hyperthreading preferably, so you get that desktop performance, not like the 9700K and the 9600KF, which didn't have hyperthreading, so you lose like 30-40% on multi-core. And the difference that it makes in gaming is maybe 1% having simultaneous multi-threading or hyperthreading turned off. So I just tested both of these machines with their hyperthreading turned on. Shame Intel, I feel bad for you guys, because 2600K, that era up to 4770K was a really good time. And I think AMD has caught you guys a little bit off guard, maybe with your pants down at the moment. And hopefully you guys can get onto a 10nm pretty quickly and then revisit this die size. Because I think that's one of the biggest limiting factors of this platform right now, is the actual physical size of the die. You've got to pack a lot more resources into a smaller space. To give you an idea, the AMDs have over 1300 pins, and this is still an 1150 or 1200. So I think, honestly, if you guys went back to first gen i7 dies and brought back 1366 in this sort of format, then you've got more equivalent space to put wattage through, which could then lead to performance and efficiency increases, which then would make this sort of platform ideal. Don't get me wrong, I think 6-core and 8-core variants on this die size are very good and can be very good. In a lot of cases, you just have to delid them, fill up the lid, and then you're in for 60 degrees at 5.3 gigahertz, which is really, really nice. And yes, it will create a very smooth experience. I have to say the gaming experience on this was very smooth. If you look at like Dirt, for instance, 1% lows and stuff are very good. I just don't think the price performance argument right now is good. Unless you absolutely have to have the best, then you take one of these puppies, put it in a dual like 480mm loop. If that's your intention, if you want to build a 60-70,000 Rand custom water cooling looped PC, then buy a 10900K. Just don't expect to be able to upgrade that platform at any point with a new processor. You'll have to buy an entire new setup. I mean, this board, for instance, it has feature set coming out of its ears. You get extra M.2 attachments and all kinds of different things. But if you have to upgrade it every time, that's 10 grand every time. And I just think that shelf life longevity is just not on the money right now. I much prefer at the moment technologies from Intel like that NUC9 Extreme kit. That's the thing that I think Intel should focus on right now. Let the desktop battle go. Get your mobile stuff like Shana now, because this is something that you've been developing for a very long time. And examples of desktop processors like 9700Ks being inside of notebooks, that's pretty cool, I have to say. 10900K, my experience, it's a bit warm. It's a bit warm. I need a big, like a 360 more rad, and then I'll try and clock its face off. But until then, I hope you guys stay safe, keep well, and I'll see you on the flip side.